between like 5 to 8 artists from each city that then will be included in the show, and that show will then travel over the period of about 2 years. Just sort of to give you the background and the facts about this. Yes.
Well, I think that's said it all. I don't know if you have
I have much more to say. If you want me to go on.
I talked so much the other night.
Cassandra was just saying that we kind of come from 2 different perspectives to this project. And I think that one of the perspectives that I sort of had about this was, of course, also thinking about how do the biennials, for example, functions, and how do they function in the United States. And Harrell was a participant of the Whitney Biennial at some point, and he shared a very nice story with me where he, I'm allowed to say that? A project that he proposed which wasn't accepted by the curators, where he wanted to write specific press releases to the local newspapers where the artists were coming from that were in the Whitney Biennial, because most of the artists that were in that Whitney Biennial were now living in New York or Los Angeles or Chicago, like the bigger cities, but were actually coming from like small towns somewhere in the United States to sort of write targeted press releases to those places. And I really enjoyed that idea, and I think somehow that has also influenced our ideas for the People's Biennial. So it was really about thinking, okay, who are the artists who are actually still living in those places where these other artists come from? What are they doing there? And how can we explore that? So I think my understanding and my approach to this whole thing has a lot to do with my experience with biennials, my experiences as a curator, and also my experience in working in institutions where there's a certain structure, there's a certain aesthetic and look and way of thinking about art that we were trying to sort of overcome with this project, or we'd like to challenge. You can think about all kinds of anti-authoritarian art movements throughout the 20th century that have sort of like tried to disrupt the conventions of the modern museum, and till this day we notice that even fairly radical things like performance art are now being domesticated and institutionalized. And I think one of the things that I feel could potentially be disruptive or make people think is just to show them something completely different that maybe is just sitting outside of the system, that might just not be written about in the art magazines, might just not be included in the mainstream museums. And luckily, Harrell and I, we both have a position within the art world where we can make this happen because of some, how do you say that? Yeah. Can you say that again?
Some art world leverage that somehow or another we accumulated.
The only worry that I have is that you do something like this and it then becomes another trend.
Yes, we worry about that.
It's going to happen.
But I think that one of the things that's sort of interesting, Renaud said, and gets picked up on too, is that typically the way that an exhibition would happen, especially a traveling exhibition, like we could take the Chuck Close show here, for example, since it's all around us, is that it originates at a certain venue and then it travels to various other venues. But and there may be some programming that is specific to those venues, but the content of the show is from somewhere else, and it is sort of imported in. And so we're trying to at least shift that a little bit by going to the places, the venues, the cities where the venues are, and finding some part of the work in that place. It creates at least a partial connection to the place that's different. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the traveling show. We're just trying to add some other options. So that if Jens is concerned that suddenly this would be happening all over the place, to me that would be like an interesting thing if more regional and local site-specific elements were considered and included in exhibitions. I think that would maybe be a good thing, and not to the exclusion of other kinds of ways of doing things. But I think it's an interesting thing to add to our mix. And there have been site-specific shows too, but I think we're trying to experiment, and it's using various precedents, and it's using various interests of available for critique. And so I think maybe that's also something that we're kind of putting ourselves in the position of, by operating a slightly unorthodox way. It creates awareness of the process. And by also doing things like this, before we even select the show hasn't happened. Usually you don't have audience member interaction before the show happens. And so by doing that, on the one hand, I think it's an interesting and good thing to do, but it also, for some reason, I think that it allows people in on the process so that they can also be sort of concerned about things that ordinarily they never even know about. And so that's something I guess we're trying to do, is like make those things a little bit more evident and transparent.
Yeah, I think that's a very important part of the process, the openness and the transparency of the actual research and the way we put even this exhibition together. And I think what Harrell said is interesting in terms of the experiment. I think there's a lot of flaws in this project. I just, and I think Carole and we talk about those flaws a lot. Sometimes we just don't know how to overcome those. There's certain things that need to be done in a certain way, I suppose. And even though I try to resist most of those things, just getting pulled back to certain ways of working. I think one of the things that we felt were, for example, difficult was that neither of us has time to actually spend more than 4 or 5 days in each of the cities. And of course, I think that every time you make an exhibition like this, it is a problem. Luckily, we have colleagues who work in those cities and represent the institutions who have a knowledge of the community and help us with that. But you often come to these points that are sort of maybe not to a full satisfaction. But again, I suppose it's an experiment, and it's really also learning by doing. We started this process in Portland, and I think that we already learned several things in terms of our interaction with the different communities that we have had there, and how this is going to, how this is now moving forward here in Phoenix. I mean, we had the advantage in Portland that Carole is actually from Portland, so there were a lot of things that were maybe more easily accessible to us than perhaps in some of the other cities.
Should we open it up to questions? Yeah, we'll keep talking along until somebody asks questions. If you have a question, throw it out there. Yeah.
Well, I'm just curious about the schedule in terms of like research that you're doing in Phoenix, looking for artists when that's starting, or you know what I mean? Just have a sense of like what you're going to do.
Well, that's what we've been doing since we've been, yeah. So I guess it started, and we don't quite know when it will end. I think that one of the things, again, sort of touching on this too, is that we're here for a pretty short amount of time, but at this point we now have lots and lots of leads, that many of which we won't be able to follow up while we're here, but that maybe Cassandra and other people that we're working with now can follow up some of those, or send us links to things, and we can do it at least through the web, look at things that we might not have been able to get around to while we're here on the street.
And one thing just to add to that that's been sort of interesting to me is that initially, and trying to sort of imagine how this would happen, there was this idea that an email address would be set up and people could suggest artists or people to submit work to this email address. And it's been interesting to me that I've been sort of diligently carrying around my flyers as we've been going to places, and we actually haven't handed them out. Nobody, they haven't really had the impulse yet to kind of tell people email